I want to say a name or a word or something, and you have to say like what comes into your head. Campari.
Fusetti.
Mezcal.
Tequila.
Free pouring.
Giga.
Sustainability.
Plastic all over.
Minchiologist.
Mixology.
Welcome back to Bar Talks. My name is Dan. I have with me Adrian Christian. Adrian, very complicated surname, Christian. We are here in Dialogue, which is a bar in Brescia, Italy, a city you've never heard of, in a bar that creates conversations. What is the slogan?
Something to drink about.
Perfect, something to drink about. So it's the city center's alcohol anonymous place. Straight out of the gate, is the Italian bar community the best and the worst community in the world?
Yes and no.
Exactly, so ambiguous.
Yes and no.
Dialogue, how old is it?
September 4th last year, so 8 months.
8 months. You've been in Italy for how long?
6.5 years.
And you are from?
I've been born in Transylvania, Romania, and lived all my life in UK and around the world, doing a small experience in Dubai. I am a proud Romanian.
Perfect. So you're a first generation, essentially, immigrants, opening a very, very conceptual cocktail bar in one of the more smaller, well, less known cities of Italy. And you're all about the community.
It's all about community and it's all about giving to a small city the international feeling, what I personally achieved together with my wife, traveling around the world and working around the world, exchanging experience with colleagues, professionals and non-professionals. So we try to put everything inside this place to make you feel that you are actually out of the city.
Like a sort of escapism, international escapism.
Yes.
And go as hard as you can. What has been the top 5 difficulties of doing this?
Well, it's been a challenge for us because we are searching a place to have the right dimensions, but the right position. Because when I used to live in UK, it was a program on TV. It was called Location, Location, Location.
Yeah, I know that.
So even I'm a strong believer because if you do something extraordinary in your area of doing it, doesn't matter your position, when you actually put your money where your mouth is, then the position and the location is important. So we are properly closed, attached to the city center, but we had the advantage to have about 250 car park places around us. So that gives you a position that travelers or the people who they go out, they park and they have properly the space, so they don't headache. I'm going to park the car, where I'm going to do, what I'm going to do, how much I'm going to drink, and so on.
And opening in Brescia, what makes Brescians different from other, like you have London experience and Dubai experience. What is the crowd like? What is difficult with them? What are they like? If
you look what Brescia is, actually it's the third European economy without knowing this. So people live here, let's say they have quite everything. It's very difficult to conquer them. It's very difficult. One of our guests, a regular guest now, he said, I've been doing business here all my life, and he's 70 years old, and it's in the steel industry. And he said, if you manage to conquer Brescia people, you can conquer any part of the world you want to go. They are very hard to convince. It's very hard to get their loyalty. But once you get it, then you don't lose it. As a very young bar owner, but not young in the profession, you're a professional of many years. Is there any tips you can give to aspiring bartenders who want to open their own bar, you know? I think each one of us who comes from being an employee to step to do the employer, he has to feel when is the right moment. I tried before, but I wasn't comfortable with the situation, so we didn't jump in. When did you feel like you were ready? Listen, we felt properly in the middle of pandemic. I don't know why. Probably because more difficulties, bigger the challenges, then bigger the reward it will be. So after we signed the contract for the place, which was been 2 years ago in October, so in full pandemic, first step we was thinking, okay, so what's the first 30 seconds?
Over there, she's sitting over there. The first 30
So
seconds.
first 30 seconds is your welcome. When somebody actually at the door, he welcomes you. See what is your expectation, what would you like to see, how many people you are, do you have a reservation, not to take you to the table, explain where you find the menu, because the menu, it's on a small bottle.
Plugging dialogue. The menu is right here on the small bottle.
Yeah.
It has a QR code on the other side. And what is inside?
Coffee beans.
Because?
I learned this from the perfumeries. When you go to buy perfumes from the real perfumeries, not from the supermarket, between tasting, not on you, but tasting different smells and different perfumes, you reset your senses with coffee. We will try to explain, well, we don't use straws because, you know, we spray some oils on your drink, and then when you approach your drink with your nose, it's going to open your senses or whatever, it's going to feel that perfume from the person near to you.
Right.
So, or we gone even further, from one drink to the other drink, so from one first round, second round, whatever, explain to our guests to open the bottle and reset their senses. So they've been like, why are you doing this? So we explain this philosophy. And the second reason is because we didn't glue these tops. So people, they always come and like, what is this? What is this? So we put coffee beans and then they get curious. So they start questioning instead us go explaining. So when somebody is very curious about this and they put the question, you are in a comfortable zone to explain whenever you like to explain. Instead of going and start like, you know, this, before even the guest starting to look on your menu, then you'll be like, okay, would you get me a drink because you talk too much?
So multi-layered. This is a focal point. It's about perfume. It's a QR code. It's interactive, and it's highly stealable.
Stealable.
How many of these have you lost?
Well, we done about 100 to start with, and we left with about 24, 25.
This shit is heavy. You can kill a small dog with this if you throw it
But,
hard enough.
you know, for us, it's a pleasure. Actually, in all the ones where they disappear, only 2 customers they ask, and they said, I would like to have this at home. Would you do me the pleasure to give it to me?
That's cool.
So that's fine, because it's even publicity for us. Because if you take the QR code in your house or in your office, and you stick on your desk all day, maybe in first day, no. But after 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, you're gonna QR the code, which is a menu will invite you to come over, and you're gonna return.
That's
Simple as that.
Cool. Dialogue.
Dialogue.
Talk about a most abstract name for a bar in the world. What the fuck are you talking about?
So we was searching everything and everything. We taken the top 500 bars of the world and top 500 restaurants of the world to see what's the philosophy behind the name and what's the philosophy of each individual one, if it's a key element who they cross each other when they choose the names. Because we didn't want to copy paste nothing, because that's the fact. You don't want to copy paste.
Original.
We couldn't find a name. In one morning I wake up and I said to my wife, I found the name, Dialogue. She didn't like it. And that's the truth. 3 months down the line, she started liking it. 6 months down the line, we start projecting it. And Dialogue, because we was thinking about something social, something like people they would like associating to do when they go out, what they do, they talk. Then after we found the name, we was trying to see actually what's the philosophy behind the name of Dialogue, what it's actually the meaning of the word, and what is actually the philosophy behind it. And the philosophy is really simple. What is the dialogue between a chef and the customer, the plate? What is the dialogue between a bartender and the customer, the cocktail? It's not anything else. What people they do, what are we doing? We chatting, we dialoguing. So you couldn't name it chit chat, whatever. So what is a dialogue? It's something to talk about. You have always something to talk about. But being in a bar will always have something to drink about.
Hey,
That's a bit of what we try to let them experience.
Fair enough. But for you, as someone who worked in London for a while and is now in Italy, I have come to this conclusion recently that all of the talent that was in London maybe 20 years ago is slowly dispersing and coming back home and moving back to Europe, right? Because there was the Slovakians, the Italians, the Czechs, there's a whole community. They all came to London during the golden period of London, 2000s to 2010.
Because London was the capital of cocktails. So the culture, even the law used to help us because they're very strict with the personal license for premises and all sorts of. So even you to serve alcohol, you had to have a personal license, so you had to get training inside you and all sorts of stuff, which they've been, let's say, really imposed. And then obviously the golden era spoke about the regretted Sasha Petrasche, we spoke about Milk and Honey, we can say TGI Fridays for the flair, we speak about Roadhouse with Dozen and so yes, it was the center of the world was London. So turning back to the community what we start, each one of us, we work in London in a golden age or golden era was, and he had and he has yet again a huge respect for his colleague from the other bar, from the other restaurant, and they pay them visit regularly and they come back and they exchange the customers. Well, you know, I don't feel to drink tequila tonight. You have a mezcal bar? Yeah, my colleague over there is very good into it. You want to eat a nice piece of steak? He's over there. And then you build a community. Now, in these days, unfortunately, that you cannot see it really, really often.
Even in London?
Even in London, though.
So
the old school of the bartenders, so the golden era of bartending, they do impose this respect. But touchdown, if you go from bar to bar, bar to bar, bar to bar, you're always gonna see that a bit of love-hate respect. That's why I think, as you say, loads, they gone out of London, they start to do their own businesses, they start to do their own projects. And I believe that now seeing in Barcelona is coming big to take that
the crown. And I think that's a fucking awesome way to end it. The key is respect.
Boom.
Perfect.